Hello, dear forest dwellers. It is time for my wrap-up video for 2025. I didn't do one last year, but I really wanted to do one again for this year, so here we are. I'm going to start talking about what happened this year, what did I do, then I will see if I reached my goals for the year, and last but not least, talk about the goals for next year or the plans for next year. So, what happened in 2025? Quite a few things actually, and at the same time not so much. But yeah, I started the year by giving up on tattooing, basically. I kind of already made the decision December the year before, but yeah, it really manifested or started manifesting at the beginning of the year. I also asked to start working part-time at the same time, and finally started doing that around April, I think, which helped me a lot to recover from basically almost burning myself out. I also went on a small tour in January, working the merch booth. I got married in summer. I started a band. I worked a little more on my book project then later this year I broke my arm. Which, funnily enough, led to me working more on my art again and experimenting with stuff as well, and just working on some low pressure, low expectation things. Yeah, for example, just painting with my left hand. Also, I kind of rediscovered my interest in occult things and spiritualism in a kind of more historical context than like a practicing context, which also I think is slowly starting to show in my ideas for art and the things I would like to implement into my artworks, etc. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it for 2025. As I said, it's kind of a lot and not a lot at the same time, because some of these things are more like passive stuff that just, things that happened, not so much things I did. But yeah, did I actually reach my goals for the year? To be fair, I did not really have many goals for this year, if any. I went through the blog post I wrote last year, and basically, to summarize it, my primary goal was to focus more on my art, which I guess, at least by the end of the year, sort of succeeded in. I needed a lot of time to recover and find the energy to create again. But yeah, it sort of actually interestingly picked up with me breaking my arm. Because I was forced to stay at home for like 6 weeks, and I finally had the time to just sit down and just paint stuff without, any expectation to actually finish a painting, to make something I could sell or post or whatever. It was just all no pressure. So yeah, that was kind of actually helpful, and it showed me what I was missing, to be honest. which leads me to 2026 and my goals for next year. One of which is to continue working part-time. I'm not planning to look for a full-time job or something, just to have a basic monthly income to pay my rent with and still have the time to create, basically. I would also like to do more commissions again. I sort of took a little break from that, not really a little, but a pretty long break actually, in 2025, which was partly voluntary, partly nobody asked. But then again, I did not advertise it anywhere, so it was kind of welcome. I would not have had the headspace to work on a great deal of commissions this year. I finally started doing that more by the end of the year, like around November, December. I had some commissions come in, actually so many I could not take any more, which I really enjoyed. All of them are fun to work on, some of which I can share, some of which I can't. I might do that next year. Really depends on when some of these projects will be published or finished. But yeah, more of those next year, hopefully. I actually had a publisher for tabletop games reach out to me. They would like to work with me in the future, but we'll see. No promises were made, no contracts were signed. They basically just asked for my conditions, my rates, said they really like my stuff and would like to work with me in the future and might actually have a project coming up for me next year. But as long as nothing is agreed upon by both sides, obviously I'm not going to share any details on here. So yeah, I would also like to work more on things just for myself. I have lots of ideas in my head, some of which I started preparing already. I still have unfinished projects. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff I would like to work on, and I will slowly do so. And last but not least, my probably most specific goal of them all is to write 5 songs for my band. So yeah, that's it for next year. I don't want to set too many goals because I know I will not be able to reach them otherwise, and I think a nice mix of focusing more on creating again and at the same time paying attention to my own needs and well-being is the most sustainable I can do for next year. One long-term goal, not necessarily for 2026, but the general future, is to become a full-time freelancer again. I would very much like to not continue working for another company as an employee. I know times are tough right now, and it will probably continue to be that way for a while. So I'm not setting myself a timeline for that right now. I will, however, start working on my social media presence again. I will be posting more frequently, especially here on Patreon. I will try to use this as a kind of newsletter collective place for any information on my projects, basically. So that's the ultimate goal I'm working towards. So yeah, that's it. The last thing left to say is that I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for some of you have been here for years now. It's crazy to me that you're still around. There's also some new ones. I've basically opened my Patreon to anyone who wants to follow for free as well. So I also appreciate you guys. Just knowing some people are around who would just want to see what I'm working on. I really appreciate it. And I wish all of you a wonderful 2026. I know that for some of you, times seem to be getting more difficult and worse each year, and life is pretty hard to navigate right now, and I just hope that you all get a break from that, and hope that 2026 will be kinder to you and to all of us. Maybe it would be nice. And I hope to see you all again next year when I post one of those videos again. And stay safe out there, stay strong, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.